Hi everyone, bear with me, it's windy right now. But this is a pattern that I designed myself that I'm going to be showing you all how to make today. And this will be available for purchase on my website. I'm actually very excited about this. I've only ever done doll patterns, but this one turned out really cute. It's simple, it's something I've been selling in my shop for a while, but I decided, hey, why not share the pattern with everyone? So if you are interested in how to make this, keep on watching. So to start, I wanted to give you all some tips on printing. I am using my Adobe Acrobat Reader, and I have a Brother printer. There's the model if you need a printer. Anyways, what you're going to want to do is print actual size or custom scale at 100%. And then the orientation should stay on auto. And this is for 8.5 by 11 paper. So there's that. And I'm just going to go ahead and print all the pages. Unfortunately, I didn't see how to do layers yet, but I'm going to go ahead and print out a copy for y'all. And I actually did that already. So I have it all taped up here. And I have some, of course, a little test square if you want to check that everything printed out correctly. But I also have these little test squares. I have 3 so that you can make sure to line up your pages correctly. So if you want to measure those, you can, you can measure everything this way and this way. Same with the test squares and whatnot. So there's that. And then I just have the last page, which is our size chart and our elastic chart. Now, for this demonstration, I'm going to be making my daughter's size, which is size 2, and of course I have all the color coded. Sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out for a size 2, but this pattern goes all the way up to 5. And then I'm going to show you my fabric and everything and get started with the whole tutorial. For this pattern, I really recommend pretty stretchy fabrics, but the elastic is going to help us make it more, more fitted. And the type of elastic that I got, I'm going to show you that now actually. I got this really neat silicone elastic off of Amazon, and this is going to not only help the top be fitted and have it, help it not to shift, but this is also silicone, so it's going to grip to your child's skin or your customer's skin, and it's very soft. It's not going to be uncomfortable or anything like that. If you've ever had bras with this kind of elastic, you know that it just gives that little extra oomph to make sure that the top stays on and stays nice and fitted. And one thing I forgot to put in this version is the seam allowance, but that will be in the final version. The seam allowance is going to be 1/4 inch, and I added a hem, I think it's called hem allowance, of 1/2 inch to all the pattern pieces. So the final will have that information for y'all. But again, the fabrics I recommend are stretchy fabrics. I'm going to be using rib knit today, but something like double brush poly, cotton lycra, even some more stable knits like French terry, bullet, those will be perfect for this top, especially since it's such a fitted article of clothing. But I'm going to be using rib knit, which is my favorite today. So let me go ahead and get to that. This video's getting, I'm talking too long. Anyways. Okay, here are my pattern pieces all cut out. Again, I'm making a size 2T, and the only thing you want to make note of is that you are placing it where the stretch is going this way. So that's what I did for both the front and back and the sleeves. I have 2 sleeves. And now what we are going to do is place our fabrics right sides together and sew down the side here and down the side here. And for our sleeves, we are going to place each sleeve right sides together with itself like this. And we're going to sew these down. Again, this is going to have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you have your serger, then that just means you aren't cutting anything off. If you have a sewing machine, then I would go ahead and use a small zigzag or the lightning bolt stitch and try to get, a 1/4 inch, and then you can trim and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that step and be right back. Okay, so here I have all my pieces with that step finished, and I'm going to show you the options I have for the sleeves. So the first option is to hem it with the 1/2 inch hem allowance. So you would just turn it like this and hem right here. I'm going to use my cover stitch, or you can use your sewing machine, and you would do that to both sides. Now if you don't have a cover stitch or you don't like using your sewing machine, what you can actually do is do the hem like this and then turn it in on itself and just serge all around here, and that will create that hem for you. Or another option is to cut off 1/2 inch and then do a lettuce hem for both. I think that would be really cute actually for both this and the top, but I'm just going to go ahead and hem with my cover stitch, and I'll be back once that step is finished. Okay, here are what my little sleeves look like, and now we are going to move on to the other steps. So for the top, we are, like I mentioned earlier, I do recommend elastic for this top, but we have two options. So you can either hem it and leave a gap. Sorry, not in focus here. Okay, you can either hem it and then leave a gap, a gap, and then, sorry, I'm too excited for this video, and then do something like slipping the elastic through. And all you would do is the same as we did for the sleeves. You just hem it down, but then instead of closing it all the way, you would leave a gap so you could slip your elastic through. You could do it that way, or I'm going to be using, like I mentioned earlier, the silicone elastic. So with this, we are going to hem both sides, and then I'm going to stitch the elastic on top of the hem, if that makes sense. Or again, if you want to go for the lettuce hem option, you would lettuce hem the top and the bottom, and then you could attach your elastic on top with a zigzag. Whichever option I think would be really cute, but today I'm going to go with the silicone elastic option. So I'm going to hem my top and bottom of my tube top, and then I'm going to show you how I attach the elastic. Okay, so according to my little elastic cut chart, we need 18.5 inches of elastic for our 2T size. Now you could actually measure your child and, do it that way, but I'm just going to overlap it about 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to zigzag it together. I just have my regular sewing machine. Oh, and before I show you, I'm using stitch number 4, the zigzag, and I have it on, I think that's length, yeah. Length 2.0 with 4.0. And I'm just going to stitch this together. I just need to go back and forth a little bit. Okay, I was actually worried that my machine wouldn't like this elastic, but it seems to have worked out. So that's what it looks like. It could have been a lot better, kind of shifted on me, but that's going to work out just fine. And, oh, I do want to point out that I do have a walking foot on my machine. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. And now we are going to place it, like I mentioned earlier, right on top of this hem. I'm going to put it about not directly lined up to the top, if that makes sense. I'm going to shift it down a little bit. So I'm going to use my pins to make sure that it's going in the right spot. And then that's center back, so then I'm going to find my center front and the center front of my tube top and add another pin there so that I know how much to stretch, if any. Again, this is just mostly to make sure that it won't be shifting around when they're wearing it, you know what I mean? Okay. But yeah, you're just gonna have to stretch the tiniest bit, so make sure that you are prepared for that. So now I'm going to put it underneath my sewing machine. And again, I'm just gonna line it up to here so that it's not at the very edge. Oops, it came out. One moment, my pen came out. Okay, take 2. And here you can see how I'm going to have to stretch it a little bit. Like the elastic, I mean. So just be prepared for that. I usually grab it at the other pin, the other end. And I'm also going to hold it in the beginning just so I make sure that it grabs it. That should be good. And then I'm just going to go for it, making sure again that I'm lining up my elastic and my fabric to where I want it to go. The cool thing is this gathering foot has this edge, and then I'm lining it up, the elastic to that edge. So, and actually let me take off this, so that I can hold it from the back and the front more easily. More easily? Yeah, easy. Easier? More easily? Sorry. Okay, and I think y'all get the point. I get nervous when I do this on camera. I don't know why, because I just never use my sewing machine. So I'm just going to finish it all the way around, backstitch, and then show y'all what it looks like. Okay, so here is what it looks like. The zigzag actually ended up being just in between my cover stitch lines. Like, these are normally what the cover stitch lines look like, so that turned out perfectly. Now I'm going to attach my sleeves with the same zigzag stitch. What you want to do is make sure that you have your seams facing each other, if that makes sense. So like the opposite ends, I'm trying to say. So if that makes sense, like here is our left and here is our right. Okay, so all I'm going to do is put it and line it up with the seams like this. And put it on. I'm gonna put the top one just a tad bit further up, because when I put it under, sometimes it shifts. So just like this. And I'm going to put my presser foot down, and I'm actually going to stitch one just so that, by hand, just so that I know it's not going to be shifting. Okay, then we're just going to go for it. Again, make sure that the fabric underneath isn't going to be caught. And I'm just going to sew this down about twice. Hello! There's my toddler. It's just to secure it, so. And I'm going to cut my needles. See what I mean about the bottom one shifting? I mean the sleeve shifting, but that's okay. I did the same thing with my other one. So now I'm going to show you the full thingy all done. Okay, my table's really small, but here it is all finished. I'm actually going to put this on my daughter so y'all can see what it looks like, and that'll be it for this video. Okay, so this is the top on. Yay! I really like how it turned out, and this is a perfect fit. This is my 3-year-old, but she is a very slender being like myself, so it fits her perfectly. This is 2T size. And can you give us a little spin, please? Yay! Thank you so much. So that's it for us, and if y'all buy this pattern, you will seriously make my day. Like, seriously, if I only sell one, I'll be super happy with myself. But thank you, everyone, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Can you say bye to our friends?
Bye!